What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Zary, and before we get into the video, I just want to remind everybody, if you're under level 15 and you want $10 worth of free stuff, go to your settings, go to use promo code, and type in XMGGift. You do that, you'll get $10 worth of free stuff. It helps support the channel. So if you're under level 15, make sure you're using that promo code XMGGift. Enjoy the video. What is going down, my YouTube family? It is your boy Zary, and we are here to talk a little noob series, Archi and Row. And got to apologize, I wanted to get this out last week. My family had a loss in the family, spending a lot of time with my mom, so that's kind of why I've been a little absent. So things are starting to calm down now, so thank you all for the patience out there. And we're going to jump into Archi and Row for noobs. Half pigs, the archers in the series. I like the hammer kind of sight that he's using. Pretty cool characters, and we are going to jump into them now. So Archi and Row, half pigs like we talked about. They're fighters and rangers. It makes a lot of sense here. Fighters, rangers. Just remember, all the stats we're going to go over are gear 11. I haven't put any T7, T8 abilities on any of the half pigs you see. We're going to be using a Gore Ram lead, so then we're going to talk a little bit about them, but just wanted to get that part out of the way. Archi and Row, health 24,880, coming in at 16th in the game. So again, we're seeing good health from the half pigs and the dwarves being brought in. Shield, kind of bottom tier. You know, bottom third of the game at 23,116th, 49th in the game. Health and shield combination, 47,996, 31st in the game. So halfway mark, kind of tied in there, and that's where we sit there. Speed, 139, tied for 22nd in the game, so bottom third once again, but that is what we were used to with that fighter rogue. That 140 range, 145 is about average, so they're at 139, a little bit slower than the average fighter. I think I said rogue, but fighter, ranger is what I was looking for. Damage, really disappointed in the damage here, 25,98, 44th in the game. You know, I think I got spoiled with two-balled there, and the damage there is low. Crit chance is absolutely phenomenal, though, at 34.45. Second in the game only to, I believe it's Wonderlua or Lane. So that is awesome. Crit chance is absolutely fantastic. Physical armor, 35.54. This is great. 16th in the game, but then we're seeing that one's good, one's bad once again. Magic armor, 24.96. 70th in the game. Bottom. I mean, there's 76, 77 characters in the game now. And potency, 6. 72nd in the game. So, yeah, that is rough. So we're going to talk a little stat takeaways. Love the crit chance. That's awesome. Damage dealer, you want them to have a high crit chance. They come into the game with a high crit chance. Physical armor is fantastic. Potency, awful. Magic armor, awful. And then I have a plus and a minus for damage / speed. Little low on speed, little low on damage, but at least we can work with that. You know, it's not the worst we've seen, not the best we've seen, but his stats are very underwhelming, and hopefully when we read his move kit, we can find the runes to adjust these problems, and hopefully it's not a champion where we need multiple things based on his move kit in the runes, so we're stuck between, should we want him to go fast, do we want him to be the damage dealer, do we need him to have a lot of potency, do we need to have a ton of crit chance. Hopefully those things can come into play. So let's jump back into the game, go over his move kit, talk about that, see what we need, and go from there. Back into the game here, starting with the first ability, Shoot and Beat. This is at level 6, deals 225 physical damage to an enemy. Oink, he inflicts bleeding for 2 turns. No oink, he's guaranteed to get a critical hit. So, just physical damage, the potency's rearing its ugly head with bleeding, and then a guaranteed to get a critical hit. Now that's pretty cool because he's got a high critical chance anyways, but if you don't have the oink, that's super cool because guaranteed a critical hit, I'll take that. Bleeding, at level 6, only has to go through that 1 potency tenacity check, everybody, so that is a plus. We just have to get him enough potency to where if those stick, it's a plus. Now at level 7, all it does is add physical damage. Now it takes it from 225 up to 270. So increase in physical damage on a basic at a T7, not my favorite for him, but not bad. Moving on to his second ability, Triple Shot. Fires 3 shots at enemies. Now this is a random 3-shotter. It's not like you can lock onto one target and all 3 shots are going to go to him. It's random. So you got to keep that in mind when you play him. Now this would be good for the dragon to bring down those scales. So that is a plus. But each shot deals 260 physical damage. If you have Oink, you're going to inflict bleeding for 2 turns if you pass that 1 potency tenacity check, right? No Oink restores 10% turn meter for every hit. So if you don't have Oink and you use this, you're getting back 30% turn meter if they all land. Now at level 7, you're still firing the 3 shots at random. It brings up the physical damage by 50 to 310. The bleeding goes from 2 turns to 3 turns if you have Oink. If you don't have Oink, it's 15 per hit, so you can get 45 turn meter back if they all hit. This is a good T7 in my mind, and I like it. Moving on to his third ability here, at level 6, Go Piggy. Gains damage increase, crit damage increase, and accuracy increase. I like all of that. His damage is low, so let's bump that up. And the accuracy means all 3 of those shots should land. And then a crit damage increase with the great critical chance. That is awesome. Recovers 20% turn meter and an additional 10% for each stack of bleeding on the enemies. So he can manipulate his turn meter, kind of making up for that deficit of speed. So if there's no bleeding out there, he's only getting 20%. But if you have 3 or 4 bleeds out there, he's going to get back 50, 60%. So that is pretty nice, but kind of reliant on that potency. So that is a little bit rough. At level 7, he gives himself haste. So he goes the damage, the crit damage, the accuracy, and then haste, increasing his speed, which is awesome. And then he recovers 30% turn meter and an additional 10% for each stack of bleeding. So I like this T7 as well. The incorporation of haste really, really is beneficial for a slower character. Over to his passive ability, Sharp Shoink. Sharp Shoink? If they have Oink, Archi and Row gain 30% potency. Huge, because we saw he has 6, so that brings him to 36. No Oink, he gains 20% speed. Awesome. So this is actually, you're like, oh man, what do you want? Do you want Oink to get the potency for the bleedings, to get the more turn meter, or you just want the flat 20 speed? So I honestly think the Oink is more beneficial in this aspect. And then if they land a critical hit during their turn, they gain Oink. Otherwise, they lose it. So if you attack, you get a critical hit, automatically get Oink put on. If you don't get that crit hit chance, you're going to lose it. At T7, it adds 40% potency and 25% speed, or 25 speed. So again, really good one. He has 3 really good ones and 1 subpar one, but my favorite one for him is that triple shot ability. You're getting a lot from that. 50% damage. The bleed sticks for 3 turns, which helps your passive ability and that third ability, where you get more turn meter for each stack of bleeding. So really, really like that quite a bit. And then my second favorite is the Sharp Shoink. The Sharp Shoink with the guaranteed 10 extra % potency, 5 more speed if you don't have Oink. Huge. I really, really like that. And then I like his passive, or the third ability, Go Piggy here, and then his basic. So I would do his second ability, then his passive, third ability, and then basic as far as T7s. But let's jump over, talk about his move kit, and see what we like. Move kit takeaways. Minus. He does feed himself potency based off his passive, so that's pretty cool. But you're still going to want potency on this guy, because what if you have What if you don't have Oink? You can't rely on always having Oink to build his potency. Now, if you built him all critical chance, then you're always critting essentially. You don't have to worry as much about potency, but it's going to fluctuate. You want to make sure you're putting potency on this character. Crit chance. I love the way his crit chance feeds into his move kit. Built that perfectly. Love how he's feeding turn meter to himself. Really like that because he is slower, so you can manipulate his turn meter to make him go fast with the haste. He's gaining it on his passive. Really like that. And a negative is its damage-based move kit. And he's got a low base damage to start, so we got to find a way to bump up that damage. So you can kind of see where I'm probably going to be going with runes here, but a lot of it is based on that damage. He's just a raw damage dealer who can put on bleeding and manipulate his turn meter. So with that low damage, we have to bump up that damage. So let's jump over to his runes, and we're going to talk about how we could rune this guy and substats we're looking for. Now when it comes to his runes, my preferred runes, and it's the one they actually recommend, is the 4 damage and the 2 potency. I thought about that long before, you know, as I was reading his kit, before I even looked to see what I could do. The damage and 4 damage, 2 potency were, because he is a damage based character, so you want to get the more damage, then you want that little bump in potency. Now if you put critical chance instead of the potency, wouldn't fault you. You could go 4 speed to make this guy go faster, but he really loses a lot under that rune set, so that is not one I'd really recommend for him. And again, you could go potency, critical chance. And then I put 4 potency, 2 critical chance. You could do that for sure. And you could also go 4 critical chance, 2 potency. But the top option of damage and potency really is the most beneficial for this guy. I really would recommend that. Then when we talk about substats, what you're looking for is you're looking for speed in every rune, right? You're looking for damage in every rune. You're looking for potency, crit chance, and then survivability on this guy. So the way you rank those is how you want him to run. Now I recommend having at least speed in every rune. You want damage there as well because he is a raw damage dealer. Potency and critical chance, those are the ones that are kind of like icing on the cake. And then survivability you're always going to get, but it's one you want to keep in mind as well. Here we are back in the game, and I went to damage, potency. Now I'm looking for speed, crit chance, just like damage, etc. So what I did here is, obviously we have the damage primary, 7 speed, armor, shield, and some potency. I went for speed in the northeastern rune with shield, potency, shield, and armor. Would have liked to get some damage on this, but I wanted a little bit more survivability for him because he kind of reminds me a lot of Kagi. Armor here, damage, speed, health, and health. I went for crit chance here. Now you could go crit damage, but he gives himself the crit damage increase, and a lot plays into his kit to keep that oink up. So I went critical chance here with speed, health, tenacity, and potency. Now here you could go shield or health. Obviously, shield is worse, but really based on secondary stats, and I like what this rune gave me. I got 43 damage, 7 speed, potency, and then an armor tick, so really like there again. For this one, whatever gives you the best secondary stats is probably going to be the one you want to go for. Then I obviously went potency here. Now you could go damage if you're not worried about the bleeds, just to up his damage even more. But I went potency, speed, damage, shield, and armor. So if, like I said, if you're not worried about getting those bleeds to stick, if you're putting him in a bleed team and there's going to be bleeds out there, you might want to go damage here so he can be more of the damage dealer. But in this half big comp, I found putting potency there is the best. So looking at his overall stats here, what we did to it, so we brought up his physical damage 618, pretty happy there. Brought up his crit chance 7. So he was at 34. This is the T7 or the Gear 11 Plus pieces. So he's about 41%. I'm okay with that. That's fine with me. Brought up his health 666. Brought up his armor, physical armor 2.8, and his magic armor 3.5. Brought up his shield 5,552. Brought up his speed 53. So I wanted to shoot to get him to 200 speed. He's right below that. I'm okay with that. Brought up his potency 40. So before the Gear 11 pieces, he would have 46% potency. That's a really good spot to get him. Then with that passive, he'll be up about 70% potency. So we've addressed those issues. So really happy how this build came out for him. And it is in my mind, the most beneficial build. So we're going to jump over to the challenges like we always do, and I'll show you some gameplay. Alright, so here we are. I have the Goram lead. Goram lead is beneficial. Only lead in the game. We have a tank in Centurion. We have a damage dealer in Baron Rel. We have our healer over with Ambo and Lance. Then we have Archer and Row. So we're going to put this at 2 so we can kind of see. So Ambo, or the first person up here is Baron Rel. Now Baron Rel applies a damage increase to all allies, so that's huge. Applies potency increase to half pigs and half pig minions. If Centurion on the battlefield, they restore turn meter. So that's exactly what we want to do right now. That potency damage increase is huge. We're going to get our taunt up with Centurion. Now we have a basic ability here. So we're going to try to get Patriarch Chi out of there. And we're just going to go ahead and do our basic. Now, when I've been playing this guy, the highest crit I could really get him up to was right around 23,000. So we're not seeing the damage of a 2-bald at all. So we're just going to go with our basic here. Get that armor decrease. We're going to go for the AoE because Shaolin hasn't, or not Shaolin, Master Duo hasn't put up his counters yet. Alright, now we're going to get our regenerations going for Ambo and Lance. Now we're going to try to take out Patriarch Chi, but this is the 3 fire shots, so we got a chance of getting hit by Master Duo, so we got to keep that in mind. So we might hold off on that and just do the basic here, because I really don't want him to get hit. Gets a bleeding up. Going to drop a half pig minion with Goram. Go for a basic. Now here we have Oink, so we can put a stun on. So let's try to stun this Shaolin. Oh, he's immune. Get the assist. Alright, now we're going to put up our damage. All that stuff. Crit chance, accuracy. Now here we're going to apply an armor increase, tenacity increase to all allies. Get our basic again. Just do our basic because I don't want to get countered. 21,000. So that's about his high there. So let's put our basic on. Let's try to get some of those Master Duos down. Let's get up that damage increase again. Potency increase. Alright, we got one of the Master Duos out of there. Now here comes the 3 times at random. Get our AoE. Get those regenerations back up. Get our taunt back up. Get up our buffs. Drop another half pig. Now we're going to try to get the Shaolin since we have Master Duo out of it, or with his counter chance. See? Ambo and Lance did almost just as much damage as an Archi and Row. It's crazy. 19 gets the counter. Alright, moving on to the next one here. Now we're going to go for this Daze and Stun, hopefully. There we go. Beautiful. Let's try to get this foul out of here. Get our armor increase up. Now we're going to go for the... we're going to save that 3 shots for random, I think, until Kinley gets his taunt up. 20,000. Couple assists. Let's go for the stun. Got the stun there. Get our damage and potency increases up. Put on our regenerations. Now let's bring in our half pigs here. Try to finish off this Almost. There we go. Alright, let's try to get this foul out of here. As much damage into her as we can before Kinley taunts. Now we are going to put up our increases. Go for that AoE. Okay, so now we can go for the 3-shot. He had a 25 there, so not bad. That's one of the highest I've seen. Let's go for the armor decrease. He resisted. Basic. Get the assist. Drop another half piggy. Let's go for the daze and stun. Try it again. Was hoping to stun that foul back there. 17 with some bleed. Get some more assists. Okay, so now they got the dodge increase. Sorry, it shouldn't be too bad. There we go. We're gonna get some counters. Get our taunt back up. Get some shield back. Basic. Should be going after that one, is what we should be doing. Get our damage increase back up. Let's get our heal in. You know, the one thing I noticed when I was playing these guys is a lot of them, there's a lot of wasted moves constantly putting up the buffs that they provide. And that, I mean, the buffs they provide is freaking awesome. Don't get me wrong. But it just seems like you're missing out on a lot of damage because you got to get these buffs up constantly. But get our armor and tenacity. Let's go for that AoE. Let's go for our basic on Lake. Now let's call them into assist here. Alright, now we're going to go, hopefully we get some stuns because we need it because Ember will shred us. Alright, we got a couple. Get that armor decrease. A couple assists, that'll be nice. Basic, 26k, not bad. See, then we got to get our damage and our crit chance and our accuracy. There goes Shaolin. Now we're going to get this out to see if we can kill somebody. Nope. Let's get Lake out of there. Weak hit. Get some assists. Drop another half piggy. Oh, we shouldn't be going for that one. They got the stun. Get those regenerations back up. These AoEs are gonna hurt. Alright, let's get a damage and potency increase. Get our taunt back up. She's gone. We want to go to that one. AoE. Okay. Get the assists, and that's all she wrote. Archi and Rowe. Let's talk for a minute here before we go. Archi and Rowe bring some good things to the team because of the bleeds, and they can do some damage. I really feel that Archi and Rowe benefit extremely from all the extra damage they're going to get on their T7s. That'll help them increase that damage even more, because they'll be doing more physical damage, right? So, judging them based on T6, they're not going to be a game changer. When they put on those T7s, they're going to do a little bit more damage, which is definitely going to be beneficial. The half-pigs themselves are coming together much better than the dwarves at this point, because the dwarves don't have a tank or a leader. Half-pigs have a tank, and they have a leader in Goram. So, yes, you can put Solius on, but it doesn't help the tanks for the dwarves. Archi and Rowe right now, if they weren't on the team, you could easily substitute them with a damage dealer. You know, it's not, you know, putting in a Dr. Frank or a Major Shot or Sergeant Pigwald. you're not going to be missing too much. So am I in a rush to get these guys? I am, because they're going to be needed for the legendary of Wiz and Ard. Obviously, you know, we're going to need the half pigs, either that or for the dwarves for Baldair. You know, it could be something like that. So I'm going to get them. You know, we have that kind of event going on for them right now. They don't really change the... What am I trying to say? The base of this team doesn't get better with Archi and Ro. They do things, and they can help. But like I said, you could put in any sort of damage dealer in their slot and still get the same mechanics. Now at T7, that could be a different story. But, you know, like you put in 2 Bald into that dwarf team and you're cranking out damage now. I was kind of hoping for the same thing with Archi and Ro, and was a little underwhelmed. I think their stats kind of hurt them in that, their base stats. And they're going to be pretty T7 reliant to make a difference. So that is really what I got for you on Archi and Ro. Now, if you're going to go after the whatever legendary they're going to be used to unlock, you're going to need them. So go after them hard. Get them up to that 5-star. So that being said, that is Archi and Ro for noobs. So don't forget, if you're finding me for the first time and you're liking what you're seeing, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, like them, share them with your guildmates, and once this goes live, this video will be on hellhades.com Dragon Champions page for your viewing pleasure. So that's what I got. I love y'all. See you in the next one. I'm out.